As we've seen Meghan Markle put out more and more content connected to her children, whether that's the pregnancy video that made the entire world cringe from secondhand embarrassment,
either Archie or Lily, and it needs to happen. They need to prove that those children, Meghan and Harry, are not entitled to privacy in this matter, and their privacy is trumped by our right to know that no bastard is going to sit on the throne of this country. All Harry and Meghan need to do is prove to us that she popped those babies out. And that's all they need to do. And if they don't, it is unfair on the children. It's also unfair on the royal family.
Looked up, her mouth set in a particular way. Things were getting serious. I said to Meg, my love, you need a push.
Did Meghan Markle use a surrogate? That's been something posited literally for well over 3 years when it comes to her firstborn son Archie and even her daughter Lilibet. And many people even wonder, are their children even real?
Did Buckingham Palace or Prince William set a trap for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, and were they gullible enough to fall into it?
This is absolutely insane that they thought they could get away with it, especially Meghan Markle and Harry. The con of the century, 2 cons of the century in the form of 2 royal children included in the line of succession.
Strange is stirring behind the iron gates of Buckingham Palace. Not just another rumor. Not tabloid chatter this time. It's something colder, more deliberate, something that's making everyone inside those marble corridors whisper. Insiders say senior royal advisors have quietly launched what they're calling an internal verification review, and it's connected to none other than Archie and Lilibet. For the monarchy, that's no small matter. The crown can handle scandals, it can survive divorces and drama, but uncertainty about bloodline, that's the one thing it fears the most. Because in the royal world, lineage is sacred. Titles can be stripped, duties removed, but questions about who truly belongs, those shake the very foundation of the crown itself.
Everything she's done has only drawn more speculation and brought the controversies back up about how Meghan and Harry have handled all of this, as well as the rumors that perhaps they used a surrogate for one or both of the children.
For centuries, one rule has guided the monarchy: the line of succession must be beyond doubt. So why would the palace dare to reopen that door now? Why touch the one subject they usually treat as untouchable? According to whispers inside, it all began with tiny cracks, inconsistencies too small to notice at first. A date here, a missing signature there, irregular paperwork, harmless on their own, but when pieced together, they formed a pattern that couldn't be ignored. And when that pattern reached the highest desks, palace officials quietly started to dig. Their first stop, the most basic yet most powerful record of all Archie's birth certificate. For ordinary people, a birth certificate is just paperwork, but for the royal family, it's history, a legal, constitutional document tied to the line of succession. Every detail must be exact.
Where are the children? Where are Harry and Meghan's kids? And do they honestly exist? Now, I know that that's kind of like a little bit conspiratorial, but you know what? I'm down the rabbit hole now since I've accepted the moon bump story. And if the moon bump story was true and she didn't actually have these pregnancies, then is it possible that she has faked having the kids?
Every name, every date, perfect and permanent. But with Archie, something changed. Months after his birth, his official certificate was quietly edited. Meghan's full name, Rachel Meghan Markle, vanished. In its place appeared only a title, Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. No first name, no surname, just royal styling, cold and official. And that's not a casual edit. In royal bureaucracy, that kind of change is almost unheard of.
California Birth Index, and per the website at the californiabirthindex.org, the California Birth Index, or CABI, is a database that stores records of births in California, abstracts of birth certificates. Putting her full official name of Rachel Meghan Markle, you can see that the official record...
Someone had to file it. Someone had to approve it. Someone had to sign off on it. But when investigators traced it back, nothing lined up. Meghan claimed the palace had ordered the edit. Palace insiders said she had pushed for it. No one could agree, and worse, there was no paperwork to explain why it was ever changed. For the Crown, uncertainty is more dangerous than bad press. If one document was altered once, who's to say others weren't? And so, the digging deepened. They began retracing the day Archie was born, the timing, the witnesses, every single procedural step. That's when the second wave of irregularities appeared. They weren't explosive, but they didn't fit the royal pattern either. The kind of details that
What Meghan and Harry did instead was they did not announce it when Meghan went into labor, for whatever reason. They kept Archie's birth private for over 8 hours. They did not tell people that he was actually born and arrived until 8 hours later. They also issued a confusing press release suggesting Meghan had just gone into labor after Archie had already been born. So they were playing games here with this. And the result was that the media and the public felt misled because
generations were handled with military precision. Every royal baby's arrival follows the same blueprint. The birth is verified, doctors issue an official statement, the palace posts a bulletin, and then comes the photo op, the iconic image on the hospital steps. But with Archie, it was different. The announcement came first, the confirmation came later. Hours passed before anyone knew the details, and even then, they were vague. No hospital steps, no medical witnesses, just a brief photo op days later that looked more like a PR shoot than a royal debut. Then came the confusion about where he was even born. First one hospital was mentioned, then another. Insiders whispered that even palace staff couldn't match the timeline with official procedures. Normally, there are midwives, royal physicians, officials, everything documented to the last minute. But when the palace reviewed Archie's file, there were gaps.
That it just really kind of boggles the mind. I mean, just for titles, for example. So when Archie was first born, they said they didn't want him to have a title. He was going to be a private citizen. I was like, bravo, you understand. He's not going to be a working member of the royal family. He is going to have to live a normal life, get a normal job. That is fantastic. And then it came out later in the Oprah Winfrey interview. Well, they denied him a title and security because he is a mixed race child. And then it was kind of like, and then later she kind of backtracked.
Not enough to claim wrongdoing, but enough to raise eyebrows. If Archie's records raised questions, Lilibet's took things to another level. Her arrival wasn't handled by the palace at all. It was announced entirely through Harry and Meghan's team in California. No British doctors, no royal midwives, no palace bulletin, no traditional easel outside Buckingham Palace, just a glossy press release and a few curated photos. For any Hollywood celebrity, that's normal. For a child tied to the royal line, it's a complete break from hundreds of years of royal protocol. Even Meghan's pregnancy timeline didn't seem consistent. Her appearances on Zoom, paparazzi photos, they didn't add up. Sometimes she looked far along, other times barely showing. Alone.
Oh, Harry and Meghan they would refuse to kind of show him. They finally kind of showed him off in South Africa. And it was very much, kind of a display. And she went to the polo match. And again, people wondered because it's like, she just didn't, it was a very stiff way she was holding him. It was just looked odd. And you looked at her and compared her to Kate, and you can't help the comparisons. And Kate is playing with baby Louis, and he's, kissing her, trying on sunglasses. And Meghan does not even look at Louis at all. And Louis looking at her.
It might mean nothing. But when combined with missing paperwork and no verified witnesses, it made senior courtiers uneasy. And the palace's silence only made it worse. No confirmation, no denial, just watchful quiet. But the biggest alarm bell wasn't the birth. It was what came after Lilibet's christening. Royal christenings aren't just about godparents and cute baby photos. They're constitutional acts, official ceremonies that link a royal child to the Church of England. The moment that connects crown and faith, forming a legal, spiritual record of identity. So when Meghan's team announced that Lilibet had been christened in California, eyebrows shot up across every royal corridor. If it was a legitimate Church of England ceremony, there should have been a record, a registry, a bishop's confirmation, even a private entry. But when palace clerics quietly checked the official ledgers, there was nothing, no entry, no signature, no trace. For any child, that's odd. For a potential heir, that's a constitutional nightmare. And then came the whispers that even the doctor allegedly involved had closed her practice shortly after. The details were fuzzy, but the timing, suspicious. People inside began using one phrase over and over, plausible deniability. Once the christening question hit the table, Buckingham Palace moved from silent observation to active review, a discreet but thorough internal investigation. Lawyers, archivists, clerical officials, all quietly assembling what they now call the Sussex birth file. They weren't out to attack Meghan and Harry. It wasn't personal. It was procedural to reconstruct every step of Archie and Lilibet's arrivals and measure it against royal protocol. Timeline boards went up. Every date, statement, announcement, and ceremony mapped out. But the more they connected, the stranger the picture looked. Missing witnesses, delayed forms, conflicting accounts from Meghan's and Harry's teams, private ceremonies with no paper trails, births announced outside royal supervision. None of it was explosive individually, but together, it was chaos. The monarchy thrives on order, and doubt, to them, is poison. A disputed record threatens legitimacy, and legitimacy is the monarchy's lifeblood. Inside Montecito, though, the tension is reportedly unbearable. Meghan and Harry know exactly what an internal review means. It's not gossip, it's the quiet machinery of the crown preparing to act. For Meghan, the stakes are catastrophic. Her entire brand, the documentaries, the interviews, the lifestyle empire, all built on the mystique of being a royal duchess and the mother of royal children. That royal connection is her golden thread. Without it, the image collapses. A duchess without royal heirs becomes just another celebrity story, not a royal one. And for Harry, it cuts even deeper. This isn't about money or media. It's about legacy. His whole life, he believed his bloodline mattered, that his children, no matter where they lived, would always belong to that royal lineage. But now, as the palace combs through records, that belief is hanging by a thread. He's said to have reached out to senior royals, desperate for reassurance, but the palace has gone cold. Once it becomes a legal review, emotion doesn't matter. The file is open, and nothing Meghan or Harry says can close it. And that leads to the question everyone's whispering, what happens next? The palace now holds a complete internal dossier, a timeline, documents, photos, records. The final stage is near, and it's the one the Sussexes fear the most. Because the crown's next move will be the one that protects the institution, not individuals. There are 3 possible outcomes. Option 1, titles frozen. The simplest, quietest path, the children's titles stay, but they go no further. No new mentions, no ceremonial roles, no future updates, just a slow fade into the background. Option 2, reclassification. The palace could quietly list Archie and Lilibet as private individuals, still part of the family, but no longer recognized as active royals. No announcement, no outrage, just silence and omission. And the final, most drastic formal removal. If documentation can't verify royal standards for birth or lineage, the crown can legally strip titles and recognition altogether. It's rare, but it's within their power. One decision, one signature, and everything changes. And that's the chilling truth Meghan fears most. The crown always protects itself. People, even princes, do not matter. Meghan and Harry built their empire on royal mystique, but the palace owns the ink. And one stroke of that pen can erase the myth entirely. Before this story twists again, ask yourself, if the palace truly opens those files, will they dare reveal what they find? Because in the world of royalty, truth is never loud. It's whispered, sealed, and decided behind closed doors. And this time, the whisper is turning into a storm. The palace's silence is no longer calm, it's strategic. Behind those gilded doors, meetings are happening late into the night. Lawyers, historians, and royal aides are said to be reviewing archives stretching back decades, comparing how previous royal births were documented, certified, and announced. Every line, every detail, every signature is being scrutinized, not just for accuracy, but for intent. Because what Buckingham Palace fears most isn't chaos, it's precedent. If inconsistencies around Archie and Lilibet's records go unaddressed, it sets a dangerous example for future generations. Meanwhile, the Sussex camp is reportedly panicking. Meghan's team, once confident in her control of the narrative, has grown quieter. Her lawyers have begun clarifying statements, trying to realign past interviews with verifiable facts. The Netflix scenes, the Oprah moments, all of it now looks like evidence under a microscope. What once felt like emotional storytelling now reads like testimony, because once the monarchy opens an inquiry, even a soft one, every contradiction becomes a potential liability. Sources close to Montecito say Meghan hasn't been sleeping well. She's always been meticulous about image, every camera angle, every headline calculated, but this is different. This isn't the press, it's the Crown. And the Crown doesn't play PR wars, it plays centuries. She reportedly fears that a public acknowledgement of the review could destroy the fragile balance she's built between celebrity and royalty. For years, she's thrived on that in-between space, American glamour blended with royal legitimacy. But if the palace decides to distance itself officially, that royal half vanishes overnight. Harry, on the other hand, is said to be torn. Friends describe him as frustrated, pacing the halls of their California home, replaying old memories of his mother and the institution he once escaped. Part of him wants to fight to defend his wife, his children, his version of events, but another part knows how the Crown works. Once it moves, there's no reversing it. His calls to old friends in the military and a few cousins in the family circle haven't helped. Everyone's polite, sympathetic, but distant. The message is clear. This is no longer a family matter, it's constitutional. And yet, even now, there's speculation that Meghan might try to take control again. A sudden new documentary, a heartfelt public statement, maybe another exclusive to reframe the story before the palace's conclusions leak, but the risk is immense. Every word she says now could contradict something already under review. The more she speaks, the deeper the trap gets. Inside Buckingham Palace, one phrase keeps echoing: protect the line. That's all this has ever been about, protecting the institution, the bloodline, and the history that justifies its existence. If the palace decides to make an example out of this, it won't be through anger, it'll be through quiet omission. One day, royal websites will update, names might move down, titles might simply vanish. No announcement, no outrage, no spectacle, just erasure. Because in the monarchy's eyes, silence is power. And this time, that silence could swallow everything Meghan and Harry built.